Hi, everyone. Welcome back. You are listening to Corks and Confessions, where we pour a glass of wine and we also pour at our hearts. I am one of your hosts, Jeanette.
And my name is Phoenix. And we are doing this bonus episode today, talking about the very new Love is Blind Season 5.
Season 5 of Love is Blind. It just dropped not that long ago, so I'm very excited to be talking about this.
In real time.
In real time. And I think when this episode airs, it will be the day of the finale.
Very exciting.
We're going to give our predictions at the end for sure. Yes. So my confession today is I love Love is Blind. The whole franchise. I love the whole thing.
I do
this
too.
season is not my favorite.
Same confession. This season was not my favorite, but a lot of people are saying it's a boring season, but I actually disagree.
Yeah, I don't think it's boring.
It's very triggering for me.
You know, there was a lot less love connections, so there was a lot less to film. I mean, you're really just following around 4 people, 2 relationships, so there wasn't as much drama. So I don't know if that's why people thought it was boring.
You are right. That was a boring part of it. Like, I didn't realize it, that I don't want to see just the same 2 couples over and over.
So that's why it's so hard for some of these shows to have like spin-offs.
Oh my gosh, do you think that they'll ever do like the couples from all the Love is Blinds and do like a reunion or like a series from that? That would be.
I don't know.
No, that would be weird.
A lot of these series do have spin-offs. Mm-hmm. So maybe. You never know.
No, I just thought of it.
You never know. So, wine for the day. We are drinking something brand new for the 2 of us that I actually found, and I was so intrigued because it's called Proud Pour Pinot for Bees. And basically this wine company is from Oregon, and they plant, for every bottle that you buy, they plant wildflowers to save the bees.
We love that. We love saving the environment over here.
Yeah.
And we love bees.
Bees are so important.
So important.
We would not have the vegetables, the fruit without bees.
And their personalities too. Like, I feel like them as a species are so interesting.
They are.
They would I could watch them, and we learn a lot about society from the bees.
So I did at one time see a swarm of bees like coming. You could actually hear it first. It sounded like a low hum, and they were on the move to like their new house or something. Mm-hmm. But it was also actually scary because I was like, do you not want to be in the middle of the bees swapping?
Get out of the way.
Yeah. So should we taste this wine?
Yes, let's try it.
Okay. Cheers. Interesting, right?
I really like it.
It's dry, not sweet at all. This is actually a Pinot Noir.
I usually don't like Pinots of any sort, but this one is good. It's dry. That's why I like it.
Yeah, it says that there's cranberry notes in there, and now that I think about it, there is kind of that like puckering that happens when you drink it. Mm-hmm. So I could definitely taste the cranberry in there.
I feel that. It has a lingering dryness.
Yeah, that's it. And it's very warm. Woo! I can feel it. I feel it right in here. It's very warm. All right, should we get into it?
Yes.
Yes. So first thing I wanted to talk about was JP and Taylor. So if you remember, JP, the cats are going crazy.
Crazy. Sorry, guys.
So JP and Taylor. JP was kind of the all-American, I guess you would say.
Oh, you just said all-American.
I mean, he wears the American flag as literally a fashion statement all the time. So that's why I think like, I don't know. That's Mr. almost like Captain America. I guess.
Or wants to be.
Yes, wants to be Captain America. And then Taylor, very sweet. I thought she was very self-aware.
Very self-aware. I really appreciated that from her.
Yeah, so they got engaged, and then they wound up, on the week vacation, and then she was like, I can't do this. It's over, basically. What did you think about that whole exchange?
As soon as they got together in person, it was just triggering for me because I feel like at first I said to myself, it's a typical male-female relationship. The problems that you have. I know it's not correct, but like that's the first inkling that I got where she's talking, she wants to communicate, she wants to connect. Mm-hmm. And he does seem like he didn't want any part of that. He was
whatsoever
quiet, uninterested, just completely shut off.
Completely, yeah. part of me wonders, because he was quite talkative in the pods. I didn't see that veil when he was hanging out with the guys or when he was in the pods. But also you don't really see I don't know if you can really see the cameras when you're in a studio. So the studio, the way it works is the cameras are like rigged up above. They're inside the rooms and you don't really see them. But when you're out on vacation, there's literally a guy with a camera standing there as you're making out in the hot tub or in the bedroom. You're laying in bed and there's another dude in there with a camera like on you. So part of me wonders if it was that whole, wow, we're trying to talk or be somewhat intimate or be vulnerable and there's a dude standing with a camera right like 5 feet from me. I don't know. Do you think that could have been part of it?
I hadn't thought of that. That's a very good point. But in the reveal, there's no camera. Their cameras are
it's all
hidden.
studio. It's all studio.
And you could see it from the beginning, I felt. And
right when he met her.
Right when they met
That's
each
true.
other.
You have
He
a
just
point.
shut off. And also, but if it was the camera, like at some point, if you are aware and like are considerate, I know my Shoshana. Oh,
Wow.
nobody got hurt. Shoshana and Toothless. Let's just acknowledge my cats. What was I saying? Oh, if you are considerate of the relationship and want to move forward, like you would say something. I feel like in the previous seasons there have been talk about the discomfort about the cameras.
Right.
So I feel like he would have said something.
I don't even know if we can actually hear that, so.
I don't think
I don't
so.
think so. I think what you're saying is true, that maybe he would have, but it just seemed like, you know that phrase, cat's got your tongue?
Yeah.
To me, it felt like there was probably a lot going on in his head that he just couldn't vocalize. And then when he did decide to open his mouth, I was
It
like,
was fast.
oh no, it would have been better just to keep smiling. Just keep smiling, JP. Oh, because he tried to open up. She kept asking him, why is it so awkward? You're not the guy that I met in the pods. Like, why? She tried. She really did. Taylor, I give it to you. You really tried. Then he was like, well, you had so much makeup on when you came out. I was like, what?
And everyone, I feel like I hope everyone's face was like, what did you just say?
Yeah. And I actually wondered if that was his nice way of just saying, like, I'm just not attracted to you, maybe. So part of me thinks, like, maybe he just wasn't attracted to her and he didn't know how to say it, so he just kind of blamed it on the makeup. I don't know. It was a very unexpected response for why he suddenly clamored up. But you see her without makeup, so why haven't you like calmed down then if you realize that she
is beautiful?
Yeah. She was beautiful, first of all, with the makeup and without. She's a gorgeous woman.
Yeah.
Let's just put that out there.
But also, okay, so we're talking about the awareness of the cameras, but clearly, so he's just, I am not feeling very positive about him. I just have to say, he seems very judgmental. And if you are so aware of the cameras, you're not aware enough to know you sound so terrible by telling a woman that her makeup is the reason why you were
Can't communicate.
not talking to her, which is really disrespectful.
Yeah. It felt like he was just looking for an excuse. Like, I think he wanted to bolt and run. He just looked uncomfortable. The only time he looked comfortable was when he was with his boys. But when he was with
Which is
her,
a red flag to me.
they were both very uncomfortable. And I was glad that Taylor didn't just hang in there for the sake of the show.
I was so glad.
I was like, good for you. And then even after, I love to do that.
And excited.
So even after that uncomfortable conversation, she came back and gave him a hug, and because she had these emotions and these feelings for him and still cared enough. I thought that was like really big of her. I was like, wow, you're a great human being.
You are agreeing. Yes, I completely agree. I was thinking, wow, she is more mature than I am, because I don't know. Maybe I'm just in a moment in my life where things are just cut or not.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a cut.
I'm with it
that's
or I'm not with it.
Yeah, that's a cut for me. That's a clear cut.
Hard no.
Hard goodbye.
Hard pass.
Mm-hmm.
See you later. Have a
Move
nice
on.
life. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I wish Taylor, JP, good luck. I can't wait to see what they say on the reunion. I hope there is one. Maybe he'll have a little bit more of an explanation as far as like what happened.
What were you trying to say, JP? Give
Yeah.
us your journal entry, please.
Yeah, I had insight onto what's going on in that brain. Yeah. Okay, so next, Izzy and Stacy. Izzy and Stacy started off in the pods pretty cute, I thought. I thought they were kind of cute. Izzy was kind of like, I'm going to have a couple eggs over here. I'm going to have a couple eggs over there. He kind of ran the gambit of the ladies in the pods. I mean, he had something going with Johnny. He also had something going with
Lydia.
Lydia.
I feel like it was the Izzy show.
Kind of was.
Yeah.
Kind of was. So what are your thoughts on Stacy? Like that whole, okay, so it's been a kind of a roller coaster with Stacy and Izzy. But there was a particular conversation that I know we wanted to talk about when Johnny was there. And
In the pods.
no, this is outside the pods.
The party.
This is the party.
The party
yeah.
episode.
So there was an episode where they all kind of got together and they got to see each other for the very first time. And Johnny is now with Chris, who was the guy that she let go to be with Izzy. And then Izzy was like, I don't want you. And then she went back to Chris. So now Chris and Johnny are at this party together. And Izzy pulls her aside and basically tells her she's a sketchy person and she's fake and all these things. What did you think of that?
I thought that was so immature. And so like first of all, why what is the reason?
I don't know.
Why do you have to pull her aside basically to berate her and tell her she's a bad person? And first of all, what she said, he was saying that she contradicted herself. She did not contradict herself. I mean, she might have said some things out of emotional connection to Izzy because she wanted to be with him, and then out of comfort with Chris. But she was very clear that she had connections to both.
Right.
She was very clear in what she wanted to communicate to Izzy, to Chris, and being open with both of them.
Yeah.
I thought that he made no sense in what he was trying to say. And I thought it was his ego just being hurt
Yeah.
that she went back to Chris and he wasn't.
Why aren't you still devastated over me or something? I don't know. I felt like he wanted her to still be devastated and sad.
Why would you count the time someone says, I love you? Especially if you don't even know the person. Like, you
Yeah.
have never met. Like, he's
Yeah.
like, I counted the times you told. And then he
Yeah.
told Chris, like,
Yeah.
what?
I don't want to mess up your relationship, but here's a whole bunch of ways that I'm going to mess up your
Here's
relationship.
how I will.
Yeah. I think that was a moment of immaturity. Ego was definitely at play there. I felt horrible for Johnny.
Oh, me too.
I think the way that she was communicating with Izzy and the things that she said, you're against my pattern. And and then Chris was more of her pattern. But then she had more self-reflection. And I believe everybody is allowed and should have room and space to change your mind.
And to self-reflect. Because
Yeah, you can change your mind. You can say, you know what, this is the guy that I'm supposed to be with. And when he says, I don't want to be with you, and you sit and you think about it, and then you realize based on your life, he actually is the pattern. I think that was super
that was very
reflective
mature.
and mature.
Yes.
And to admit it to somebody and to have to go back to someone that you broke up with and say, I was wrong. That is brave. Most people would just move on with their lives and call it a day. So I think it was really brave. And then she got rejected. She put herself out there and got rejected again.
Again, yeah.
I was like, how much do you want to put this girl through? Oh, damn.
And also, Izzy, like, that's the whole point of the show. He is so upset that she was back. But, like, you had 3 women you were trying to figure it out. And you were, not playing with them because that's the whole point of the show is to find out and everything.
Yeah.
But, like,
Exploring
the dynamics you have with each person. And then you're condemning someone for doing the same thing.
I know. I think emotions were really high. And then when Stacy joined the conversation later, it got really toxic. And I am always careful with words like that because it can be very triggering for people. But that was a very toxic conversation. It wasn't beneficial for anybody that was sitting there. It was basically ego fed. It was not for growth. It was to make someone feel
It
bad.
was attacking. It was just bullying.
Yeah.
They
So I
completely-
was like, wow, this is, somebody's got to put a stop to this. Walk away, girl, get up, walk away. You don't have to take that. So I felt really bad about that whole situation. And no one really explained their feelings. I feel like Stacy probably had emotions about how Johnny handled herself and the things that she might have said to other people and not to Stacy's face, because that would cause me to have some kind of reaction. But she didn't actually pull her aside and said, it really hurt my feelings when you did this. Or, you know, I heard things that you said about me. You said me and Izzy weren't going to work out. That really hurt me. That's not what she said. She said, you're sketchy. You're a garbage person. And it's like, well, you're not really actually growing from this conversation at all.
You're not. But at the end of the day, what do they even really owe each other? They don't know each other. If Johnny said to another person they're not going to work out, like, that's her opinion. And I'm sorry, you're in the pods for a limited amount of time. You've never met before. Like, does she really owe you an explanation of what? I don't think what Johnny said was mean. She was stating her opinion, and she had facts, which actually ended up to be true.
Right.
In
What
the end,
facts?
about the whole credit score
Oh,
thing.
yeah. The whole conversation. So we're all basically caught up to episode 9. And on the day that this airs, it is going to be decision day.
Yeah.
And I knew the minute that scene opened with them packing their stuff and they were quiet, I was like, oh, they're fighting right now.
yeah.
It's uncomfortable. Something after that romantic airplane ride went wrong. And money or something. We didn't actually get an answer as to what it was. And I completely understand. I understand. I don't agree with why Izzy might have held back certain information that might have been embarrassing to share with somebody as an adult in the workforce. If you have, whether it's bad credit or creditors coming after you or large amount of debt, whatever it is, it can be kind of embarrassing to explain or share that with somebody, but you shouldn't hide it. You gotta just kind of vagina up and share that information. So
That is true. I love that you said vagina, because vaginas are the strongest things in the world.
they deliver babies.
They
and
deliver
stuff.
babies and they provide life,
Yeah.
which is the same thing,
Yeah.
but still.
Well, I always hate that phrase, like man up. Like
I can't stand, or like get some balls. Like,
Yeah,
get some
no.
ovaries.
Yeah,
okay?
please.
My thoughts on that, at first, my first inkling was, okay, you know what? Good for Izzy. He actually, I'm not a fan, but I thank you for, maybe he didn't want cameras around, maybe like telling the truth, and he is allowed to do it in his own time within a right amount of time limit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if this was, so maybe he's thinking, let me do this because I want to get married. Like, I might get married.
It's
so,
like a fast paced, like they're only knowing each other for a couple weeks. So you have to like fast forward and be like, share your heart and share all the uncomfortable skeletons in your closet.
yes. So if he was in a regular relationship, what I'll ask you is, how long do you think he would have waited? Because that's also time invested in someone that then you all of a sudden don't trust. Like if he's in a regular relationship, he waits, let's say, a year or even 6 months to disclose this, and it's already serious.
Yeah. I think that really depends on how fast your relationship is moving. Are you moving in together?
Okay.
Are you boyfriend and girlfriend? Are you just sleeping together and kind of keeping it casual? Like, this situation is different. It's so hard to compare it to real life because this is like an extraordinary circumstance. But in real life, finances is a conversation you should probably have if you ever decide to live together. And if you don't plan on living together prior to marriage, then it has to happen within the first year at least.
I feel like as soon as it gets serious. So that's
Yeah.
where I'm thinking he waited too long, because as soon as the reveal happened, they knew they might say yes
Yeah.
to each other. So you're right. But in this situation, like, he should have waited maybe like a he had like a day to think
Yeah.
about it. So in real life, I feel like as soon as you know this is serious, you need to disclose that information.
At least he did. I mean, he could have just waited till after they were married.
Then he would have been evil.
Yeah.
That's not.
So
yeah.
at least he came clean, but probably should have shortened that a little bit, Izzy. Just
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah. Can we talk about that weird drawer that he had at his house? Remember when they went to go visit his
Please.
place?
Yes.
And he had like the drawer of lost items,
Yeah.
the mismatched things.
I did not. I mean, I gave it to Stacy that I would have walked out.
I
would not.
Especially when she found out, like, oh, you knew it was there.
He was
You
so
saw it
happy.
yesterday. I think, here's the thing. He keeps sharing about his biggest fear being that he's not going to be enough for somebody, that someone's going to leave him. Psychologically, maybe a little part of him was like, I'm going to show you
That I have people.
exactly how doggy dog I was.
That's so.
Are you going to leave if I show you that? Let me show you the worst, because he kind of mentioned that that's what he was going to do. It's not right. I don't agree with it, but maybe that's what he was kind of doing.
I mean, people can have their reasons for doing everything. They can validate it for themselves emotionally and psychologically, but when it comes down to it, it's disrespectful.
Dude.
You are going to marry this person.
No, I agree. I'm not laughing about that. I was just thinking in my head that if the situation or roles reversed, if he came to her house and she had a drawer of just like
Guy stuff.
random guy things, and she's like, I don't know whose that is actually. I'm not sure.
And society, can you imagine
I
if
know.
that was her with a, like, what would the public say about her?
Oh, they'd be going in on her. Absolutely.
it would-
Guys get high-fived, girls get slut-shamed. It's just how it would have been.
It would have been a whole, I feel like it would have made the news. Like,
Yeah.
this girl
All over.
on this show.
Yeah. So didn't appreciate that moment. So yeah. Should we talk about the other couple that is supposed to make their decisions today? Is Milton and Lydia.
Milton and Lydia. There's so much to say about that.
Yeah. So Lydia is 30, Puerto Rican, and Milton's 24. Both super intelligent individuals, really
Very.
highly smart, both ambitious, both successful in their own right already. I don't know why I say already. He's 24, but yeah.
Well, that is already.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
he's got a career path and he knows what he wants to do. So that was, I was not that successful at that age. So. What do you think about these two?
Man, I feel like, okay, I want to say I like them both. So that's foundation. I like them both as
me too.
people. But I do feel like she latched on to Milton.
Did.
In, attention. Oh, maybe love. I'm gonna fall in love.
Yeah.
I'm going to claim this.
I feel like she's on the verge of so ready that not just anybody, but he hit enough of the boxes that she was like, I'm going for it. I'm going 1,000%.
That's a good point. It's like not just anybody, but like enough of the boxes are checked to where she's all in.
All in, 1,000%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually think for a 24-year-old, he is pretty mature. He's not as emotionally available as you would want somebody that you're about to marry to be. But I thought he is really well-spoken and mature in the way that he handled conflict. That whole conversation he had with Uche, I was like, wow. He didn't get really defensive. He was like, look, that's your opinion. Your perception is your reality. We're not even on the same line. Like, I'm on an adjacent line. Your relationship with her is totally different.
I do agree. I will challenge that in a way and say, just say the final scene, for example, that we saw as of this time, when they were in the restaurant and in the middle of all the crystals and everything. So people, men or women that handle it, it's very emotionally mature, but it's also, I felt like, emotionally invalidating in the sense that you approach like it comes off like not caring sometimes. It comes off like I'm not that invested. I don't really care that much, so I'm not going to really invest myself in this situation. So it's like let me talk about this certain way where it appears mature, which I do think he is though. So I'm not saying he's not. I do think he's in a way, not a full-fledged way, but in a way. But what am I trying to say?
I feel like I think it's kind of what I was saying is like he's not emotionally available or
Yes.
unaware of how his delivery comes across.
Yes. Emotionally available.
Yeah, he was
Yes.
not totally emotionally available.
Yes.
Like at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for someone like Lydia being so
In
emotionally
tune with exactly what she's feeling. Yeah. Emotions are on the sleeve.
they're out there, which
They're
is
on
also
the
not
skin.
good.
Yeah, I think she's possibly struggles with how to handle those emotions. I guess that's the best way I would say. I don't think it's a bad thing. I hate how people make being emotional a
yes.
negative thing. I don't think it's a negative thing at all.
Oh no, yes.
Learning how to manage those emotions is a very difficult thing. It's a lifelong journey. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yes. I feel like emotionally volatile where it clouds your judgment is where like emotions are valid. Like everyone's entitled to have their emotions and to express them. But when it comes to them clouding your judgment, like not hearing.
Or you're listening.
Yes.
Yeah. I was literally watching that conversation like, wow, neither of them are actually hearing anything the other person's saying. They're very focused on making sure they get their point across. And they both are looking for emotional validation.
Yes.
He was too. He was sharing what he was feeling. And even if the delivery wasn't right, she wasn't validating him. And then she was sharing how she was feeling, and he wasn't emotionally validating her. So it was like they're both kind of like fighting to be heard, to be listened to. I was like frustrated watching that whole thing. I was like,
very
this is not...
You're not helping each other.
Not at all. Y'all need some counseling. Like, you need to be in front of a counselor to try to work some of that out because a third perspective on the situation might be able to help them get past this barrier. Because I think it is work. I think they could work on it. It wasn't super toxic. To me, I didn't feel like it was toxic.
I didn't think it was
It was just
toxic
like
either.
they just don't know how to communicate with each other and they're not hearing each other right now.
But do you think so? Like, I will say that the other ones were toxic in my eyes. Like, I feel like the other couples, like JP and Izzy, and them, they were toxic. It felt like it to me. This one, I don't think you're right. I don't feel like it was toxic. But do you think it comes down to a certain point where they are just like as much work as they can put into this relationship, they are just such different people. They handle things so differently.
They do, but they have a saying opposites attract for a reason. I think her emotional availability is something that he could learn from. And I think his level-headedness is something she could learn from.
That is very true.
So I think there's a lot of that they could learn. I just totally like my nose.
We forget we're on camera.
Yeah.
I forget a lot. I'm like fixing myself, looking other way.
So there are a lot of things I think they could learn from each other.
That's a very good point.
Yeah. And if they had the right space and time, I think they could. Oh, we have to talk about the roommate problems.
Oh,
Lydia
okay.
talking about, she's brought it up several times in front of the
we wanna go into
family. She's talked about it at dinner, that uncomfortable conversation.
It's a thing. It's a theme.
I have so many thoughts on this because in my relationship, I am the messy one. I am the one, especially when I was like 20, 24. I was leaving my towels on the floor. I was not washing my dishes after me. She's going crazy right now.
My heart is pumping.
Because I get it. It is hard. Moving in with somebody is one of the hardest things to do because you are merging two lives and two different styles of what is important, what is not important to you. And so I can completely relate. And Lydia, give him some time, boo. You got to give him at least 6 months. If after 6 months he doesn't get his shit together, then maybe you have a problem. 2 weeks in, 2 weeks, it's a lot. Like, give a boy a break, okay? He's still young, and he'll get there, and he is listening. And it's not a towel on the ground doesn't mean I love you less. That's not what it means.
To me, it does.
But to the other person, it doesn't. It's kind of like love. It's kind of like the love languages, right? If you don't receive, so you just got to give him time, I think, personally.
But that is another point because he is 24, but she is older. So how, like, the
6 months. You can do, if you love somebody, you can give them 6 months to get it together.
That's true. But okay, here's another point
You can
that
give
I
them
will
6.
ask you. If you love someone, I feel like if you love someone romantically, there's a very big difference with an attraction and being in love with someone romantically. So I feel like people can fall in attraction and then fall in personal love. Like, I love you as a person and I'm attracted to you. Versus I am in love with you as a person, with you as a romantic partner. I'm just, there's this romance air that, yes, if I was like just romantically in deep in love and like all the things emotionally were there with okay, I'll wait 6 months. But I don't think they have that. I don't feel like they are romantically.
I think, okay, so here's my opinion I hear what you're saying. I absolutely hear what you're saying. I don't think, how do I want to say this?
I've been in both. That's why I'm asking. I've been in both where you talk yourself into the comfort and falling in love with someone as a person and like doing all the things that a couple does and falling in love that way versus actually being in love.
I do think there is a difference, but they're engaged. So if you believe in a lifelong commitment with somebody, when it comes to daily activities of life, things that you're going to do every day, sure, being tidy so that your partner doesn't want to rip your head off because you left your towel or you didn't clean your dishes, it matters. It does. But it's not something that can't be worked on. It's not a hard, to me, it's something that can be worked on. And if you're not willing enough to give enough grace to that person or enough patience, then you must not be in love. You must not be. Because otherwise you would give that person grace because you would hope, if you have habits that drive them crazy, that aren't that big a deal to you, I think if you love them enough or they love you enough, they would give you that kind of grace. So that's what I think.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month starts in October, and we are so excited to be highlighting an organization that we absolutely love.
Susan G. Komen for the Cure. Susan G. Komen's mission is to save lives by meeting the most critical needs of our communities and investing in breakthrough research to prevent and cure breast cancer.
If you or someone you know is struggling with a new diagnosis or battling with breast cancer, remember, you are not alone.
Folks at Susan G. Komen have so much information and support available for you.
Visit Komen.org to find help and resources.
And if you love podcasts, take a listen to the Susan G. Komen podcast called Real Pink, hosted by Adam Walker.
Episodes feature candid conversations with survivors, researchers, physicians, and more.
Real Pink is available wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Or if you want to donate, all of October we will have a link on our Instagram page at Corksandconfessions to donate to Susan G. Komen directly.
Let's take care of each other.
We are all in this together.
So, predictions. We've got two couples walking down the aisle. We've got Izzy and Stacy and Milton and Lydia. I want to hear what you think is going to happen with Izzy and Stacy. Is Izzy going to say yes? Is Stacy going to say yes?
I don't know why that made me laugh. That made me, like, I don't know. I don't know why. I feel the giggles.
What do you think?
So at first I thought that Stacy should say no to Izzy. I thought Izzy would say yes and Stacy would say no. But now, after watching the last few episodes, I feel like they both will say yes and they're both toxic for each other.
I don't know if they're toxic for each other. I think I saw them have a toxic moment. I think you can have toxic moments no matter who you are and not be necessarily a toxic person. I just think we're not perfect people, right? So I think I see a lot of love between them. I really honestly feel like Izzy does love Stacy, and I feel like Stacy does have love for Izzy.
Yeah, I'm not discounting that.
I think when it comes down to it, Stacy is going to say yes. And I think Izzy is going to say yes. I'd be shocked if Izzy said no. Unless he is a runner-awayer. People who...
I would be shocked if he said
because
no.
I actually thought that drawer thing was kind of self-sabotaging in a way.
Yeah.
I feel like he was trying to sabotage. So he could be a self-sabotager and wind up saying no at the aisle. Like, let me say no to you first so you don't say no to me.
That makes sense. Yeah. But I feel like so I know toxic is a triggering word, but like I feel like if I say it or when people say it, like I'm not necessarily saying they're toxic people in society.
But
they're toxic to each other because they're fueling the toxicity that makes them bond. Like it's not like they won't really complement each other in growth. They're just fueling off them.
So predictions. We already talked about Stacy and Izzy. What are we thinking about Mr. Milton and Lydia? I don't know why I said it like that, but it's the wine.
I want to say that he will say no. And she will say yes.
I think she's 1,000% going to say yes.
She will shock us all.
Yeah.
Shaka Khan.
Shaka
Khan. Yeah. She says no.
No, I think she's probably going to say yes. And I think Milton's going to maybe say no.
Yeah.
I think he might say no.
I think he might say no.
Yeah. I don't think he's ready.
I don't think he is.
So we shall see what happens. I'm kind of excited.
I actually am. I am very curious to see. And I'm very curious to see Izzy and Stacy's as well.
Yeah. And they both picked beautiful dresses, so I am kind of excited to see everything. Oh my gosh.
I did. Yes.
Yeah. I do think Stacy picked the beautiful dress for her.
Yeah,
she did look radiant when she put it on.
It was beautiful. So that wraps up this episode, the bonus episode of Love is Blind Season 5. Premiere is tonight, so I can't wait. You guys should be commenting, sending us your inputs. What do you think is going to happen?
Yes, we really want to know. We really want to know. Before you even watch, if you're not watching it yet, comment what you think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And please make sure to follow us at Corks and Confessions on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, because YouTube is, they're all fun.
Also, don't forget to subscribe. We are on any of your favorite podcast listening apps. And also, we're on Facebook, too. So if you're a Facebook group person, you can find us on there.
Fattest. I was going to say find us and add us. Fattest.
All right, guys. It's been so much fun. So we want to toast to everybody on Season 5 of Love is Blind. You guys made it through. And you're better for it. If not, hopefully you learned something. Because I've certainly learned some stuff watching it. So
that's the thing. I always love, I don't want to say analyzing, but just watching people go through this and like finding your own perspective.
Little pearls.
Yeah.
Little pearls of wisdom.
Yeah.
Yes. So congrats. And to Bad Bitches in Progress.
Bad Bitches in Progress.
Cheers.
Cheers.